here today, Steve, to confront a woman I had met when I was 15.
And how old was she at the time?
28. She alleges I'm the father of these two kids.
Before the show, you took a paternity test, right? Do you want them to be your children?
They remind me of her and the whole situation.
You have to take some responsibility in this relationship. Sherry, sleeping with a child, please stand up.
Didn't feel wrong.
I don't care if he was washing your car in a thong. Why would you want to be dating a teenager?
Thought we'd be together for the rest of our life.
Are they his children?
How can you just turn your back on two little babies?
If they're not your kids, you're just going to cut them out of your life? Would you just cut them out of your life? If you're daddy, you're daddy. Simple as that. Let's get to these DNA results. And the results of your test, Charles. Welcome to the show. My first guest is Charles. Charles, tell me why you're here.
I'm here today, Steve, to confront a woman I had met when I was 15. And she has brainwashed me, manipulated me, and seduced me. And to this day, she's calling and harassing me. She alleges I'm the father of these two kids. And I just want to confront her and let her know that she's of no significance in my life anymore and she doesn't control me.
So you were 15 when you got involved with this woman?
Correct.
And how old was she at the time?
28.
And how old are you now?
25.
You were with her for about 9 years then?
Yeah.
And you guys got married at some point, right?
Right. She convinced me to have kids with her, buy a house.
How old were you when you got married?
21.
So you started the relationship as a teenager. At 15, you started, what kind of relationship was it?
It wasn't really a relationship. It was an incident that happened, which turned into a relationship.
What was the incident?
It was a sexual encounter.
So this happens and you're 15 years old. What are you thinking? You're thinking, wow, this is great, I'm 15 years old, or boy, I shouldn't be doing this?
I felt like I shouldn't be doing it, and I knew it was wrong.
You felt that first night?
Yeah.
But okay, so if you knew after that first time and you were saying, while it's going on, at 15 and you felt bad and you knew this was wrong, how did it end up in being a 9-year relationship and you being married to this woman and having children?
She had brainwashed me and was very controlling.
I mean, how does she brainwash you? How did that occur?
She played the guilt role on me. Like, for a long time, nobody knew about it.
You never expressed, hey, you know, I'm 15 years old. I want to hang out in school. I want to be with my buddies. I want to do this. And I want to be in this relationship.
Yeah, actually, I have. Whenever I wanted to go out, when I was going to school, she would get mad because she would always be worried that I would meet somebody else. And
yeah. You're going to school. That's what you should have been doing. You're 15 years old. Why did you drop out of high school?
Because the way she was affecting my life. She was getting mad because she was scared that I would meet
Was she telling you not to go to school?
She has. She's said that, you know, you should drop out and get your GED.
While you were married to this woman, you had 2 children?
Right.
And I'm told that you question whether these children are yours.
Correct.
Why do you question if they're yours? You were married, and I got to imagine at some point you were very happy when your children were born, right? You weren't happy?
No, I was very, when I heard she was pregnant, I was disappointed, scared. I wasn't ready for kids. I didn't want kids. She always said...
So you were scared and you were disappointed when you found out she was pregnant the first time?
Yeah.
If all I'm hearing is you didn't like this, you didn't want this, then now, you know, it's one thing being 15 and being taken advantage by an adult. That shouldn't have happened. She's 28 years old. She shouldn't have been sleeping with a 15-year-old. I'll give you that. But at some point, you become an adult, and I don't know if the reason you get married and you feel, I got guilted into it, I felt bad when I had my children. If you felt so bad, then how did she get pregnant a second time?
Because,
Did you continue to sleep with her after you had the first child?
yeah.
And did you realize that she might get pregnant again?
That's why she had I feel she got in the way of my development. Being 15, sometimes today, I feel like I'm still that 15-year-old boy. And I felt trapped, and because of the emotional damage and stuff that I've incurred through the relationship, I have a hard time communicating.
I can understand that this probably caused some hurt to you on some levels, you know. Now these two children, you say you doubt if they're yours? Is the pictures of you when your children were born? Right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about these children now?
They remind me of her and the whole situation, and I regret ever meeting her.
Yeah, but what about the kids? Did they do anything wrong?
No,
I mean, are these your children?
it's a possibility they're not.
And why do you say that?
Because during my time in the Army, there was roommates living in the house, and the boy looks like one of the roommates.
You believe your wife might have cheated on you?
Right.
And you believe that these might be some other men's children?
Right.
Do you see these children anymore?
No, not. Last time I seen him was 2 months ago, and I was just over there just getting my stuff out of the garage, and I didn't really spend much time with them.
Do you want them to be your children?
No.
You don't want them to be your children. What if it turns out these are your children?
It's hard to accept.
If they're your children, they're hard to accept?
Because of her, and I know it's not her fault, and I have to separate the two.
What do you have? 2 little boys, 2 little girls, what?
One of each.
One of each? What if, you know, your kids are 3 and 4, they're just babies, right?
Almost 2 and 3.
Almost 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Someday, they're not going to understand all this, that, you know, bitter feelings towards her, guilt feelings, this and that. They're just going to know you as daddy. And they're going to you're going to say, I hope they're not mine? Wouldn't you say, even though no matter what happened between you and her, these are your kids? I mean, they're right there. You don't even want to look at your own children? Sherry, sleeping with a child, please stand up.
Didn't feel wrong.
I don't care if he was washing your car in a thong. You have to take some responsibility in this relationship. At no point do you get to walk away from your children. And the results of your test, Charles, you say to yourself, something bad happened to you when you were young, right? Who's going to protect them?
I will.
But you say you hope they're not even yours. I don't know. Are you denying these children because you're angry with her?
Not really. It's not their fault. And
But people, when they're mad at each other, they do dumb things. And they let their relationship become between their kids. And I understand it, you know. No, I can't say that. I don't understand. When it comes to kids, if they're your kids, it doesn't matter what, you got to stand by them. You got to be responsible for them. No matter. When you bring children in the world, you don't get to make excuses why you're not there for them, why you're not supporting them. If your older boy comes to you someday and says, hey, this is going on in my life, what would you do? You'd do something, right?
yeah.
You put an end to it.
Nobody was there to do something for me.
Yeah, but I'm saying, now you have these kids. We'll get to the DNA results, and maybe you could be right that they're not your children. But how hurtful would it be to your kids to say, you know, they see dad saying, you know, I'm hoping the kids aren't mine. Wouldn't you not say that statement until you were 100% sure that those kids weren't yours? Yeah. Even if they're not your kids, does that remove all the feelings that you would have for these two little children because you're not the biological father?
They're just kids.
They're just
kids.
And
I know I'm a good guy, and they do deserve me in their life.
Well, if they deserve you in life, how come you're not going over there and seeing them? How come you're not supporting them?
Because I don't know if they're mine. And
well, why wouldn't you find out first before you started saying, hey, I'm not going to take care of these kids, I'm not going to go buy them? Is that a chance you take that they could be yours and you're denying them daddy?
Yeah.
It's a pretty crappy thing to do, isn't it? You know, 2 years ago, you were 23 years old, right? 2 years ago, so you're a grown man, you're still having sex with your wife. You can't tell me you were still being brainwashed at 23. I mean, you have to take some responsibility in this relationship. At some point, if it's as bad as you're saying, and you totally hate the situation, at what point do you say, I'm out of here? You're controlling, you're brainwashed, you're doing all this stuff. I don't want this. And then when she gets pregnant, you say you feel horrible about it, but you feel so horrible, you sleep with her again, and another child comes into the world. To me, that's not somebody who's acting like, you know, I'm just saying, doesn't sound like it was that horrible. You know, you got me, you know, hey, 15, yeah, she probably took advantage of you. But at some point, at 21, 22, 23, you're a grown man. Don't you take any responsibility whatsoever for what the situation is now?
I don't, but I should. And during my time in the Army...
What do you mean you say, I don't, but I should? If you say you know you should, then why don't you? How do you feel about those kids right now?
I don't even know what to feel about them.
What do you want? Both of you took a lie detector test before the show to find out exactly, we want to make sure everybody's telling the truth. And then you also took paternity tests before the show, right?
Yeah.
Do you love those kids, your children? Well, we're going to assume for the time being that they're your children, okay? Do you love them?
Yeah.
If you love them, why would you abandon them? Is it just because you're so mad at her?
Yeah.
Okay, Charles, what I want to do is I'm going to ask you to leave the stage. I'm going to talk to your ex-wife, Sherry, and I'll bring you back out. All right, let's meet Charles's ex-wife, Sherry. Sherry, sleeping with a child, please stand up and answer the questions.
Didn't feel wrong. Thought we'd be together for the rest of our life.
If they're not your kids, you're just going to cut them out of your life? Let's get to these DNA results. And the results of your test, Charles. At 28 years old, you start sleeping with a 15-year-old?
No, he was 16.
Okay. I'm way off base here. So at 28, you start sleeping with a 16-year-old?
Yep.
And why would you do that at 28, sleep with a 16-year-old?
It wasn't like I was just, hey, let's sleep together. It was a long, drug-out process. And it wasn't like it was 10 minutes after I met him. I said, like, he was...
He was 16 years old, though, right?
Yep. Yeah, he was.
He was a child.
Not in my eyes. He had
It doesn't
lived
matter
such-
whether you say in your eyes or not, you know at 16, what would you call a 16-year-old? A child, right?
Yeah.
No matter how mature they seem or whatever, If you found out that I was sleeping with a 16-year-old girl, what would you say?
That's probably not a good idea.
Why is that?
Because he's not grown.
What's that?
Because he's not grown.
Okay, so then my argument goes right back to, if you say your own words, if he's in high school and you're not like 21 years old, you're 28, you're closer to 30.
Yep.
So why would you start sleeping with a 16-year-old boy?
There was just things that happened. It was like
You know what?
fate
I don't care if he was washing your car in a thong. You know what? I mean, what kind of logic is that? It's at 28.
The way you're putting it, there is none. That's not how it happened. He was.
The point is, it doesn't matter how it happened.
Right.
As a 28-year-old, you would think, first of all, why would you want to be dating a teenager? You know, when I was 16, I was a dope, and I don't think any mature woman would want to date me when I was 16 years old. So I'm asking you, at what point do you say I have to restrain myself because I'm the adult here, and I'm not going to sleep with a child?
You're right. Okay, I messed up.
Okay, so then you keep letting it go and go and go. Nobody who you knew said, "What the hell are you doing, dating a 16-year-old boy?"
No, everybody that was around us was in support of us. Everybody.
Why were they in support of you? And nobody raised an eyebrow.
It didn't seem wrong. It didn't feel wrong.
What did you love about him at being 16
Everything.
years old? Did you like that you had to drive him to high school, drop him off?
No, of course not.
Well, what did you love?
His personality, how he brought happiness and...
His personality, carefree kid, right?
No, it was happy, and he had good thoughts and good reasoning on how to do things.
Well, thank God. And then you came along and you screwed him up. Doesn't seem real happy anymore.
Maybe not.
What, was he happy with you?
I felt he was.
Well, I'm going to say this. At some point along the way, I'm sure he was enjoying it, but also something happened. What happened? This is your wedding day?
Yeah.
At any point did you say, wow, I'm making a mistake here. I shouldn't be doing this?
No.
Never.
No.
Did you take advantage of him?
No. I don't feel like I did. I don't think so.
Would you sleep with a 14-year-old boy?
No.
Why?
He's not grown. He's not...
So at 16, they're grown.
It's like 1 in a million. It wasn't...
One in a million?
Some people are just... I feel like they were born like old souls, and they were born older inside.
No,
It's
you know
just
what?
like-
I don't care. Even if I met a 17-year-old girl now, and if I felt the way you said, I'd say, I can't do this.
Thank you for being stronger than I.
Did you encourage him to drop out of high school?
Absolutely not. No, I encouraged him to go. I dropped him off a lot of times.
And why did he drop out?
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to be the adult.
This is a man that you loved,
He
thought the
wanted to
world
be
of.
the-
You end up marrying him. You were with him from the time he was 16. He was enrolled in high school when you met him. You started sleeping with him. Why did he drop out of high school?
Because he wanted to be, I suppose, play the adult part.
Play the adult part.
Yeah, and you're...
So you know
you're
he
saying
was
it.
not an adult, and you're letting this boy destroy himself by being in this relationship, and you just let it go on and on and on. Do you feel bad about it at all, looking back on it?
Now, yeah, the way you're putting it.
The way I'm putting it.
I just didn't see it like that.
How about the way you were putting it? You know what? I don't believe for a second that this relationship was so out there and everybody knew about it and everybody was okay with it. I don't believe that for a second. I think on some level, this is a relationship that should have never got into. You were being selfish. You thought about yourself. You let this relationship go on from the time he was 16 until you got divorced 3 weeks ago. But I think at some point, he did enjoy it. He was happy. And for whatever reason, something happened. You woke up, whatever. He says he joined the Army. You know, and he's not happy you guys aren't together. But you know who's suffering right now for it? The children. You.
I would like my kids to have their daddy. How can you just turn your back on two little babies?
When you break up, there's bitter feelings. But you don't get to take it out on your children. If you're daddy, you're daddy. Simple as that. He says, and I'll agree with you, I don't even know if you feel this way, but he should find out if those children are his before he abandons them. Are they his children?
Yes.
You're 100% certain.
Yes.
During the course of your marriage, you never had an affair?
Never cheated on him.
And you know, we took a paternity test. We're going to find out if these children belong to him or not.
Right.
You hear this man that you were married to, that you've been with for 9 years, denying that these are his kids, saying he hopes they're not his kids. How does that make you feel?
Disgusted.
About what?
About the whole thing. How can you just turn your back on two little babies? I wouldn't turn my back on two babies that weren't mine, let alone two of my own.
Do you still love Charles?
Yes.
Do you want him back?
Not with who he is now.
And who is he now?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a year and a half. I've seen him 3 times, 4 times in a year and a half. He's just turned his back and walked away. I've tried to talk to him many times.
Do you think if he says, you know what? I was a child when you started sleeping with me. I was in high school. I feel
for 2 years, but come on, we were together 9. That's 7 extra. There wasn't.
It's a relationship that never should have started from the beginning. What would you like to see happen today?
I would like my kids to have their daddy, the man that I was in love with, am in love with. Give my children the opportunity to have that support.
You have a little boy that's 3 and a little girl that's 2.
Yeah.
I got to imagine you love your children very much.
Oh my God, yes.
I just got to ask you this because you did the same, you know. If your little boy grows up and he's 16 years old and he comes to you and says, Mom, I'm dating a 28-year-old woman and I'm having sex with her and I'm sleeping with her. You going to be okay with that? I'm going to tell him, let's talk. Let's talk about what's involved with being with a 28-year-old woman. See, you scare me. What about your 16-year-old daughter with the 28-year-old guy? You're going to say, let's talk? See, that's the problem right there. That's the problem with every child that ends up being screwed up, is somebody like you. Let's talk. I could see my daughter coming home, 16 years old. I'm with the 28-year-old, Dad. Oh, let's talk, honey. Let me tell you what's involved with being with the 28-year-old man. What do you think's involved? Sex. What do you think? That's what it was all about. I don't give a damn what you say. I don't believe you. 28 years old with a 16-year-old boy, you were being selfish. You were doing it for your own needs. It wasn't about, oh, this kid's so great. He's so wonderful. He's so mature. Then you're just lying. At what point are you going to see that it's not good for a child to be involved with an adult? Isn't something like finishing high school the most important thing when they're a teenager? Yeah. I'm asking you. Maybe you don't feel that way. No, I do feel that. What's important for a child? You tell me. To finish high school? Yeah. Right. Parents being in a normal relationship, it helps. Yeah. Parents are working. Parents are involved in their kids' life, right? Parents to say you're not going to date. Parents. You know what, though? Yeah. Relationship ends all the time. Yes, if Charles should be involved in his kid's life. He should have never walked away. We're going to find out if he's the father. But yes, he should be involved in her life. He should support him. Yeah. But what scares me is who's going to teach your children the right thing? Maybe he will. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll help. You really going to count on somebody else to raise your children? Wouldn't you say, you know what? I hope my other half helps with raising these children, but I know I'm here, and I'll make sure I take care of them. I see that you're upset, you're crying. Why is that?
I can't talk. I don't know anymore.
You what?
I don't know.
Go ahead, have a seat. No, we'll let you sit.
It's lovely. Thanks.
You know what? You make me want to cry, though, seriously. I mean, you have to be smart. All the horrors out there that can happen to our children, and I hear parents saying dumb things up here, and it pisses me off. Because if you're not there to protect your children, that's what happens. Maybe that's why Charles, because his parents weren't involved in his life enough, knowing what's going on. I question the community that you're in. If nobody raised their head to say, you shouldn't be doing that. Why aren't you dating somebody more your own age? That's what I question. And then, okay, it happened, but he was an adult. He stays with you. But then you give the most stupid, cockamamie answers about your own children and what you'll say to them. And if it makes you cry, if I have to drive home the point, I hope you wake up this moment on my stage. If they're not your kids, you're just going to cut them out of your life? Would you just cut them out of your life? And the results of your test, Charles. Because you know what's going to happen? You'll be crying when your 16-year-old daughter comes home and says she's pregnant. Or your boy has got some girl pregnant and he can't afford, he's in school and he can't take care of a child. Then you'll be crying. Then you'll be saying, man, I wish I would have said don't do that. Not, I'm going to have a talk with them about the benefits of a relationship with a 28-year-old. Are you crying because of Charles or your kids?
I'm crying because I love him, and it wasn't like that. It wasn't.
Well, you know what?
I'm sorry if that's how he feels, or if that's how anybody is.
Well, I'm gonna let you talk to Charles.
Great.
And you could tell him that. Let's bring Charles back out.
So you don't know me no more, right? You know why? Because I'm 25. I'm a man now. You kept me from that. You manipulated me. You took advantage of me. You robbed me of the best years of my life. Any 28-year-old woman in the right mind would say, no, no, it's wrong to touch a 15-year-old.
Sorry.
A little late for that.
I thought we were in love. I loved you so much.
It's a big lie. I was living a lie, and I was so
I'm
unhappy.
sorry that you felt that way. I didn't see it that way at all. You gave me bracelets. You sent me letters, hundreds of them. How much you loved me.
You played the guilt role on me.
You were in
like-
New Jersey or something. You were 5 states away. How can I manipulate you from there? You couldn't even talk to me.
I was happy to go to the Army because I didn't have to be by you. I didn't have to be controlled by you.
Whatever. You'd be hurtful. That's great.
I'm just being honest.
I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry if that hurt you and destroyed you.
I can't even look at you.
Well, that's why you got
me
divorced.
I
I mean, the truth of it is, people get divorced all the time.
Yeah.
Relationships end. People don't even get married and they have kids. But here's the fact. There are 2 kids in this world. There's 2 children. And you're with this woman. You proclaim her to be your wife. You're living with her. You have a child. And what I can't get past the fact is, you're so upset with this child being born that you have another one. What, don't you take...
After hearing her responses to you, I was thinking maybe I don't want nothing to do with these kids, but maybe it'd be better off if they did come with me.
If they're your children, you don't get a choice in my book. You have, if you're daddy, you're daddy. Simple as that. if you're in a marriage and you're bringing children into the world, and you say you were so miserable, I'd say, okay, you were miserable, you find out, she's pregnant, but then I have to question, why'd you do it a second time? Why wouldn't you say, you know what? I don't want to be with this woman. I don't want to have children with her. I'm not going to sleep with her anymore. At some point, don't you say, if you're so miserable, so horrible, I'm not going to bring any children into the world. Now I'm not going to bring any more with her, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but now you did bring 2 children into the world.
Mm-hmm.
You walk away from them, so somebody, you're going to hear a whisper, oh, those aren't your kids. I'm going to take off and bolt, and then, I'm mad at you. They remind me of, my wife. Yeah, you had babies with that woman. They're going to remind you of her. She's the mother. Yeah, you know what? When you break up, there's bitter feelings. But you don't get to take it out on your children. You know what? Honestly, this sounds like really, I might be wrong, and we're going to find out if you're daddy with these DNA tests. But isn't this just a case of you don't like her anymore, and now you're making the kids pay the price? Isn't that really basically the truth here? You're so mad at her, you're taking it out on the kids. Do you feel that you can be a father to these children?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can be a father?
Yeah, once I know they're mine. And
if they're not your kids, you're just going to cut them out of your life? Got to answer. Would you just cut them out of your life? When they look at you and they say, Daddy, when they say, goodbye, Daddy, I love you, Daddy, doesn't affect you in any way?
yeah,
Do you love those 2 little children? So I'm asking you, if the DNA test results come back and you're not the father, would you just cut them out of your life? Would you walk away? Would you say, you know what, I hate her so much, I don't want to be with these children, I don't want anything to do with them? Okay, let's get to these DNA results. I just want to ask you the question one more time. If you could go back, you don't see anything wrong with getting into this relationship?
I would do it over.
You would do it over? You would get into the relationship with him again at 16?
No, I would
You would do
it differently.
You would do it differently. The DNA results for your children. You say you don't believe you're the father. You say he is. And the results of your test, Charles, you are the father of both those children. Do you feel bad at all about walking out on your kids? Do you feel bad, like, I don't know if they're going to be fed, I don't know if they're going to be taken care of, I don't want to be with her, I'm leaving them? You are daddy, those are your children. Do you have any feelings knowing now that the things that you said, these are your children?
yeah, I'm gonna start being there for them.
Isn't it sad that you had to come on a TV show for you to start being there for your children? How do you feel that now we know 100% that Charles is the father?
I knew they were. I did.
It had to be tough hearing him deny your children.
Yeah. God, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to repeat this again, and everybody at home will know. If you're 28 years old, don't get involved with 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, kids that are in high school. Don't do it. don't get in relationships. If your children come home and say they're in a relationship with an adult, you put a stop to it. Real simple. And if you're going to play house, and you're going to marry a woman, and that woman's going to become pregnant, and she starts having children, and you're the man of the house, don't walk away from your kids. Don't walk away. You knew at the bottom of your heart that those children were yours. You were there. You knew what was going on. And you walked away from your own children. You know what? Those are your children. The two of you, I think you're still in love with him, and I think you want him back. And you don't have to go back. You don't have to go back and be with her to be a father to your children. You better work this out. You better let him go on and live his life the way he seems fit. You know, you should have never started this, but you did. You have two children. Let him be who he is. Let him go. And you don't have to be with her. She doesn't have to be in your life. But you, take a look over there, my friend. You have to be in his life, and you have to be in hers life. And there's no more walking out the door. There's no more denying it. You know you're the father. No excuses. No reason why you started with her. You hate her. She stole this. Don't steal from them. Don't take anything from them. You made it through the Army. You're a man. Be a man for them now. You're going to let him see his children?
Yeah.
You're going to let him be in their life?
Yes.
You're going to send her some money to take care of your kids? And you're going to go visit them on a regular basis and let them know you're in their life and you're going to be there to protect them, right?
Right.
Okay, let's go. You want to go see your kids in the green room? You want to go see them? Come on. Let's go see your children. Everyone's got something to say about the Steve Wilkos Show. Whether you love it, hate it, or have a funny comment, drop a line in Steve's mailbag at stevewilkos.com. If I read your email on there, I'll send you a free t-shirt. Alex wrote my first email. I used to fight constantly with my mom about my grades, my language, or just to fight. My mom is a big fan of your show. She and I watched a few episodes with kids my age, 17, who are constantly fighting, and you put them in their place. I was scared my mom would call you, and I don't want that. Since watching those episodes, I'm getting A's in school and getting along with my mom. In fact, we've been doing a lot of cool stuff together because of you. Thank you, Alex. Tell your mom thank you for being such a great parent. Alex, good job for shaping up. Your education is your #1 priority, and you will be grateful for the lessons your mother's teaching you. Steve, you said you used to be a cop. Were you Detective Vic Mackey on The Shield? I get this question a lot. I'm a big fan of The Shield and think Michael Chiklis is a great actor. But that's just it. He's an actor. He's not a real cop, and I'm not an actor. I've encountered many of the same situations that Vic Mackey deals with on The Shield, but I did it in real life. Here's my next email. Steve, when I first flipped to your show, I thought, what does Cal Ripken Jr. have against chairs? I kept watching, and I'm proud to say that I watch one of the best shows on television. Thank you for taking care of business every week and for putting the general crazies of the universe in their places. Adam. Cal Ripken Jr., I wish I could play like that. I also like my show to last as long as his career. Anybody with a brain can see that you only have yo-yos on your show who can't defend themselves. I can't believe you get paid. I keep praying for the day when the same thing happens to you that happened to Geraldo. Jeff, anybody with a brain knows that Geraldo is spelled Geraldo. Nice try.